Us out of that.
Yeah,
All right. Hey, Coon Prairie Ramblers here. We're still confabulating and talking and jawing and eating peanuts. Boiled peanuts, that is.
eating peanuts by the peck.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
KC.
The boy stood on the burning deck eating peanuts by the peck.
Have mercy.
What we gonna
Lord
talk
Byron. Lord Byron, wasn't it?
about? Lord Byron?
We ain't talking about him. I don't know nothing about him.
Okay, let's don't talk about Lord Byron.
Okay. Talk about
Instead, let's talk about
Donald Trump.
in our youth. What was the first presidential election that you can remember
I
having
know.
an interest in?
Bum, bum, ba-dum,
I got one.
ba-dum,
Okay,
ba-dum,
what was
ba-dum, bum.
When I was a little boy.
When I was a
Well,
little
little
boy.
The devil called my name. I was 6 years old, and I was riding on the school bus. In my day, the elementary, the junior high, and the high school kids, we all rode the same school bus, and we was going to Waverly. My older brother and sister was going to Waverly High, and I was going to Waverly Elementary. And I used to sit with my sister because she was my protector, and I was sitting in the school bus seat, and this girl came up to me, and she sucks her face up in my face. She says, "Do you like Ike?" And I said, "What?
What's Ike? What does it taste like?
Do you like Ike?"
If I put ketchup on it, it
I
might.
looked over at my sister, and I didn't know what she was talking about. I don't know. Who is that? And I said, and my sister says, "He's the president." And I said, I'm looking at him thinking, "Oh, what am I supposed to say?" And the lady said, and the girl said, "Do you like Ike?" I said, "Yeah, I think so."
I think she liked you, Mel.
Oh, was she your age?
No, she was a high school, she was an older girl. I don't know.
Oh, she
I
was
was
looking for a boy toy. She was hitting on the Mel boy. Hitting on Mel boy.
And I said, "Yeah." So I did the right thing.
So she was satisfied with your
Robinson.
answer.
So I was
Jesus loves you
I was
more than-
tuned in. I got
Well, he was already elected then.
he was going for re-election in 56 because I was 6.
Wow.
His re-election, and so I liked Ike in 56, and
What about 57?
well, I remember my daddy. My daddy used to sit out in the car and listen to the car radio, the news.
Yeah.
And one day, my daddy, he was a rough guy. And my daddy, he came stomping up to the farmhouse and boom, slammed the screen door open. He says,
Oh boy.
He said, "We just sold metal to the Russians, and we're going to send metal over there, and they're going to send it back to us in bullets." Have you ever heard that?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
They're
Our
going
bombs.
to send it
yeah.
back to us in bullets. And that has stuck in my mind, that phrase, what he said there, until years later, until I heard it, as one of the catchphrases,
Then it came back to you.
Yeah. I'm thinking, hey, my daddy said that. I'm thinking, my daddy created the.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
He can.
But anyway, I was well aware
quote
of
him on that. He coined that phrase.
Now, I was born when Truman was president, but I didn't know
Wow.
nothing about that. I was, because, he went out. I was born in 50, and he was already halfway through his second term.
Well, the first one, I remember Ike being president. I mean,
Wow, y'all are old.
We are. I
Goodness.
can remember him being president,
like a
but I
baby.
don't remember a whole lot about the election process. But I do remember when John F. Kennedy ran for office,
Yeah.
and that seemed to be a little bit controversial because of the fact that he was a Catholic.
I was 10 years old. I actually
And
watched.
I remember a lot of people were opposed to him.
Yeah.
And I was raised in a family of yellow dog Democrats.
Yeah.
He won
And
in 60.
So you guys were
60, he
you
beat
guys were
Nixon.
confused?
About what?
You were a yellow dog Democrat, and he was a
Yellow
Democrat.
dog Democrats aren't confused. They are far from
Oh
confused.
boy.
Yellow dog Democrats
you
will
guys-
vote for a Democrat.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe you guys, but he was a Democrat, but he was
He
a
was
Catholic.
Catholic, right? That would be
So what was
confused.
their
It would
response?
not be, what is the word?
So what was the response?
Well, anyhow, problem didn't. We didn't in our house. I don't ever remember anybody saying anything about the fact that he was Catholic, about that being a negative.
Oh, yeah.
I remember other people I'd hear on the streets,
Yeah.
or at school.
Yeah.
Oh, if we elect Kennedy, we're all going to private Catholic schools, and that's not. And I mean, here I am, a little kid, and I'm thinking there ain't no way
Yeah.
that we're going to go to a school of Catholics just because we elected a Catholic
For one thing, in
president.
DeSoto County, there was no Catholic school.
Well, then we
Yeah,
could have created one.
you didn't even
We
know
could
what
have
it
created.
was, probably.
So that was 1960.
Yeah, but I remember
He
it
beat
very
Nixon,
well,
didn't
and I remember the fact that there was a big deal about him being a war hero.
Yeah.
He was on the PT 109.
Yeah.
I remember reading profiles.
And he messed his back up doing it.
Profiles in Courage.
Courage, which somebody else actually wrote for him.
Yeah, but I remember reading that book, and the reason that my father and mother were Yellow Dog Democrats was because they were raised during a time of the Depression.
Yep.
And most of the people that were raised in that Depression credit, whether right or wrong, the Democrats for getting them out. Franklin Delano Roosevelt for getting them out of that.
He was like a superhero back then.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He walked on water.
Yeah.
And I can never forget, my father hated Harry Truman
Yeah.
with a passion.
Yeah.
I mean, he just thought Harry Truman was a devil. He said that during the Korean War that they used to paint Harry's police force on the side of their trucks and their.
So he was mad at Harry because he fired McDonald.
McDonald. Get out of here, Ronald.
No, he was mad at him because
MacArthur.
he kept saying that was not a war.
Yeah.
It was a police action, and he said, "Well, you should have been over
He
here.
should have been in the middle of it, dodging bullets.
He said, "You would have thought it different.
Yeah.
You would have thought a whole lot different
Freezing
about
your
that."
behind off over there.
Especially when they got stuck at the Chosen Reservoir.
Yeah, I know. I know a few guys, or I've known a few guys in the past from Korea War, and they were suffering from PTSD. So, tell them about that.
Yeah, and I knew some guys when I was a little kid that had been at the Chosen Reservoir, and it was really a hell on earth. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine what
When
they
I was
had
in
to go
sixth
through.
grade, we had a substitute teacher. Well, I had a teacher, and she got sick, and we had a substitute teacher. And he was a man guy. He was a man, and he was a Korean War veteran, and he told us a lot about it. This is in sixth grade, and he was substitute for a long time because our regular teacher was out for a long time, and I learned a lot about Korea in the sixth grade from his stories.
World history.
Yeah, right from the mouth of a guy who was
Yeah,
there.
well,
From
see,
the
that's
source.
the two. And when I was a little kid, we lived in Norfolk, Virginia. A lot of Dad's Marine buddies would come by, and they'd sit around the house and talk and all. And I was always seen to be sitting there listening to their stories.
Very cool. I bet you heard some good
And
stuff.
it really interested me, of the stuff they would talk about. And there was a total different perspective than what Harry Truman had.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you got it from the actual source.
Luke, did you remember Kennedy? Do you remember the?
Yeah, I remember. I guess Ike was president when I was born, but I don't remember him at all. And my first memories of being aware of anything like that would actually be when Kennedy was running for re-election. Sadly, I was 8 when he died, but
You was a little fart.
but it just wasn't moving around in my realm of knowledge anything interesting about the president. But what I do remember is during the election, I was at school, and somebody told me a joke, first joke I ever remember hearing, and he was running against Barry Goldwater, and Goldwater. And the riddle was what did President Kennedy say when he used the bathroom? And the answer is Goldwater. We was thinking I didn't really know what that meant, and I was in the principal's office, and his wife worked in there volunteering, and I told that in there, and boy, her eyes popped over. She thought it was really funny. She laughed and laughed. I went home and told my parents, and they didn't beat me or nothing, but they were pretty shocked at how it really. And then finally, I figured out what that meant. So I had to be. I should have exercised caution. But anyway, goodness, we are down to the F-bomb, which is coming up here in the short, just about 30 more seconds.
Oh, this just flew by. I think those peanuts fueled us up.
Peanuts flew by, and plus we got pie on the way, so we're that's why it's going
we're
by so
hurrying up
fast.
to get out of here. Not that we want to leave these mics, but
we got about 30 more seconds, and we're going to get on
So
out
I like
of here.
Ike. You remember Kennedy, Casey?
I remember Kennedy the second term.
Tippecanoe.
The second term that he didn't get.
Tippecanoe and Tyler too.
That's right.
Wait a minute, Kennedy didn't rerun.
He was running for a second term
Oh, okay.
when he got killed.
Oh, that's right.
All right.
I was towards the end of his.
We got to go. Y'all get on out of here. So y'all stay put. We'll be right back.